Hello and welcome to a very special character creation guide video. More than any other character creation guide you have ever or will ever see on this channel, I know this sounds awfully hyperbolic, but none of them will be as important to me or this channel as this one right here. So Order of the Griffon. You might be wondering. You might have heard me say it in some other videos. If you know me personally, I might have talked about it. But if you haven't, Order of the Griffon means a lot to me as a gamer. Because when this came out in 1992, I got it that Christmas, actually a little bit before Christmas. That was my junior year of high school. Me and my buddies were playing D&D every week in my buddy's farmhouse that he lived upstate. And I was very deep into D&D at this point in my life, like super deep. I was playing the gold box games, still had my Commodore 64, playing Pool of Radiance. You know, it was my life. I even bought the Nintendo version of Pool of Radiance and went through that. It's just anything that said D&D, whether it was a book, whether it was a new adventure module, there was a color forms set, remember, getting for D&D. I mean, I had the action figures, I had that little play set with the green monster with the teeth. You know, I had all that stuff. If it said D&D, I got it. So when I heard that a D&D game was coming out for the TurboGrafx, I went out, got it that fall of '92, I believe, and I became instantly addicted to it. I even tore out the pages in Turbo Play magazine that reviewed the game, and I plastered them on my wall. That's how insanely addicted I was to Order of the Griffon. So, yes, this game means a lot to me. I even made a Neverwinter Nights module sometime around 2004 that was a sequel to this game, story-wise. So that's how much it meant to me. And I've always wanted to do a playthrough of it, and I will eventually. I know there's someone out there that asks for it, and yes, you will get that, because I love you, man, for asking for that. You rock. Because anyone who knows this game and actually wants to see it, you effing rule in my book. Because this is a very underrated game. So Order of the Griffon. I'm going to give you a quick little start guide so you know what you're doing, right? Okay. So something you should know about Order of the Griffon, right, is that it uses first edition D&D rules, not second edition, otherwise known as advanced D&D. This is the original D&D. So things are a little different here. First of all, you need to know a few things. The elf is not so much a race as it is a class. In this game, you will see elves are really just spellcasters who can also wear plate mail and use heavy weapons. The downside is they gain levels twice as slow as everybody else. So, I mean, really what they should have done was it should have been a fighter mage, you know, and you wouldn't be able to wear heavy armor while casting spells. But guess what? This game, a little bit loose on the rules. So you can play as a mage that can cast spells in full play. So, that's one thing to keep in mind. And you can play a halfling, and halflings are basically the same thing. They're kind of like fighter thieves. So they have that thief ability, but they also have a fighter's ability to use heavy armor and weapons. So I'm going to show you a good party to pick and why you should pick them and some things you should do. And we're going to make your party powerful, like right away, because there's a little trick I can show you that will make your party gain about a level, get some good equipment, and you'll start the game a little bit juiced up and make it a little bit easier for people that might be having difficulties with the game. Okay? So first off, you have 4 party members that you can select and start. No, you cannot create your own characters. It's not that advanced. We're playing a console game from 1992, people. Come on. So you want to start with a fighter first of all. Now there's 3 fighters you can pick. You have your Rorik, who has hideous strength. You can fix that with gauntlets of ogre power, so not a problem. You can get Rorik, or no, excuse me, Kier. He has great strength, great constitution, but his dexterity is not very good. And then you have Garen, who's my favorite, because he has pretty decent strength. He has great dexterity, which will lower your armor class, and he has decent constitution at 16. Now see, the only one here who has a problem that you can fix is Garen, because you can always give him Gauntlets of Ogre Power. From what I recall, there are 2 Gauntlets of Ogre Power in the game. One you can buy, and there's one you find. So, you don't really have to worry too much about having low strength. So you could always give him Gauntlets of Ogre Power if you want that 18 strength. 17 will be enough to get you through the game. Kier is nice, but really in this game, I can tell you from experience, having gone through it about half a dozen times, armor class is the most important. So I always go with Garen, because he's going to give you the best armor class, and he's going to also have pretty decent hit points too. So next up, you're still going to need a cleric and a mage caster. So next up, I would go with a. Now see, here's where things get a little dicey. You can either go with an elf and have your spell casting and your what do I want to say, tankly duties all rolled into one character, although they're going to level very slowly. Or if you really want magic, and yes, magic is very overpowered in this game, you can get a straight mage. I would suggest, and this is just me, but since magic is so incredibly powerful and necessary in this game, much more than melee, I would suggest going for a straight mage instead of the elf. Once you beat the game and you're comfortable with playing the game without magic, you can pick an elf, but I would not pick an elf, aka a fighter mage, when you don't understand the game and its mechanics. Okay? The reason I say this is because they're going to be so slow in learning magic. It's going to be like until like level 3 or 4 where you're even casting magic missile and sleep spells, and you're not going to be casting fireballs and ice storms, which is what you desperately need to beat this game, until 3/4 of the way through the main quest. You see what I mean? And you're going to be very upset because you're going to get fireball scrolls and you'll have no way to cast it because your elf just isn't high enough level. So what I would do is I would either pick a dwarf or I would pick a halfling. Personally, because, I don't think there's that many doors in the game that actually require you to pick a lock, because you can just bust them down. So, you know what? Just go for the dwarf. You know what? Maybe you should pick a halfling, because I do like Mikal. Mikal's actually a pretty wicked character. I really like him. As you can see, his stats, his constitution is 18, his dexterity is 17, his strength is 17. None of the dwarfs really measure up to that. You have a dwarf with 18 strength and 18 con, but his dexterity is 13. And there's no gauntlets of dexterity, at least that I can remember, in this game. There's gauntlets of ogre power to get your strength to 18, but nothing to get your dexterity to 18. So, what I would do is go with a halfling and go with Mikal, because I know there are some doors in the game that do require you to pick locks, but I can't remember if you actually have to pick the lock or you can bust them down, or if there's any kind of penalty for busting them down. I don't know, but Mikal still is a really good character, so I would pick him. Now you need a cleric. Of course, you're going to need a healer. Keep in mind, 90% of the enemy mobs you're going to be fighting in this game are going to be undead. So you are going to need a cleric, because you're going to be casting Turn Undead a lot. So, who do we pick for cleric? Well, There's Chanda, who has 18 wisdom, which means she's going to be able to cast the most spells, but her dexterity is absolutely abhorrent, and her constitution isn't that good either. You have Marius, who has pretty good strength and decent constitution, but his dexterity is nothing to write home about, and his wisdom is average. You have Kerwin, on the other hand. His constitution is 18. Going to have a lot of hit points. His wisdom, 17. So he will have a fairly large amount of spells. So, really, even though he's not going to be very good in combat until you get him, like, say, Gauntlets of Ogre power, you could go with Kerwin. Kerwin is, in my opinion, if you're playing this game as a first-time person, like a first-time player, I would go with him, because just for the 18 constitution and the 17 wisdom, you can always give him the Gauntlets of Ogre power when you buy them in the game, which should be pretty early because they're only like 6,800 gold, and you can get that pretty quickly after the first mission, selling all the magic items you get, and you can easily buy him Gauntlets of Ogre power, and then boom, there you go. You can put him up front. His AC is not going to be good. He's not going to have a good armor class, but he's going to have a lot of hit points. So now, as far as mage, understand that your mage's role is basically going to be to cast sleep. Okay? The first half of the game, sleep is going to be the absolute most important spell that you have. The reason why is this uses first edition rules. So these first edition rules are a little flaky. When you hit someone who is asleep, and you'll notice this when you play like the Commodore 64 ones too, when you put an enemy to sleep, any hit that you hit them with, no matter how weak, even if it's with like a staff, an unadorned, regular, plain, run-of-the-mill staff or dagger, any attack will instantly kill them. It will instantly hit every time and will critically kill them every time. That's how powerful the sleep spell is. Of course, the enemy can do it to you too. So, being able to cast sleep and then eventually fireballs is vitally, vitally important. So, out of the mages, you want a mage that can cast a lot of spells, but can at least survive a little bit. So, you could pick Hawk if you really don't mind losing the extra spells to get a guy who has pretty good dexterity and constitution. But I really think overall your best bet is Valos, because he has the higher intelligence. He has a Constitution's not going to really help you that much, I think, as a mage, because at best, what are you going to be doing? Gaining like 5 hit points, 4 hit points a level. Your mage is going to be roasted. If you let anybody break your front line and go to your mage, they're dead. Okay? It's like Falcone has an 18 intelligence. That constitution is just bad, you know? You could get Hawk because he has the higher dexterity. My only problem with that is mages, until very late in the game, aren't going to have any real AC decreasing items. Okay? It's going to take a while until you find items that will decrease their armor class. So your choice is between the sturdy stability that Hawk offers you, or just the actual spell casting. I mean, you know what? I think I would go with Hawk, just for the simple reason that Valos is only going to gain like 1 or 2 extra spells by the end of the game than Hawk. So yeah, we'll go with Hawk. So this is a good, decent party that you can start the game with. I'm going to show you how to get started in this game really quickly. Don't attack any of the good aligned people. Just don't do it. Now, you might be tempted to go into some of the other rooms. There's a lot of fights in these rooms. Most of the rooms in these towns will, you know, start with a fight. You know? But there's an armory, and you can buy and sell things here. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that when you go into a fight and enemies drop things, make sure to pick everything up, because it won't tell you right away if an item is magical. So you could get into a fight with some skeletons, pick up 4 normal-looking swords, right? Go back to the armory, and you'll search down here, and it'll say, "Oh, I'll sell this sword for 4 gold, this one for 4 gold. Oh, that one I'll give you 500 gold for." That tells you that it's magical. So what you do is you don't sell that one, and then you go to, I think it should go to the, there should be a spell shop. Yeah. You'll go to this guy and select identify, and for 100 gold he'll identify whatever it is in your backpack that is magical. But we're not going to do that yet. So here's how we get powerful very quickly in the game. Make a save, and what I need you to do is when you play this, you have to walk about 10 steps, and then reset the game hitting the start and select buttons. What you do is you walk about, say, 10 steps and then save the game before you get into a fight, and see how far you can push it. Because the goal here is to not trigger a random encounter, and if you do, just reset the game by hitting start and select at the same time, and then reload your save. It'll reset the RNG, and the RNG decides whether you get into a random fight or not. So just keep walking forward, saving the game, and then if you get to... Now, I'm not saying you probably could beat a random mob at this level, because they're going to be... The game scales the enemies to your level, in the overworld anyway. So, you know, you'll be fighting like level 1 undead. So you'll probably be able to beat them, but it's just time consuming, because what we're trying to do now is just get free loot and experience. So just walk around here. You're going to the upper right portion of the map. I don't know if you noticed, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we made it to Kelvin. Now, save the game. And I think this first building on the right... No, this isn't it. That's incorrect. It's been a while. Just about every building in here is going to result in you getting your ass kicked. Yeah, see, so you definitely don't want to do... Because this town is supposed to be a place you go to towards the end of the game. Like, you're not really supposed to go here yet. Okay, I think it's this room right next to the tavern. Because you have the tavern here. I think this is the room where you get the mace. Yeah. So you get a little bit of experience, and you get a magical mace. Not too bad, huh? Alright, so that's our first bit of loot. So what you do is you follow the wall where the tavern is, and if I remember correctly... Okay, that is. So that's... Let me see where this is in relation to the tavern. Okay, yeah, the tavern's here. Follow the wall. Go west. Go south. And that door right there. This is the door you want. This is where all the good stuff is. So before you enter into this area... Oh, shit. before you enter into that door, you want to do something. And that's you want to save the game, because this is another thing that I really have to tell you. And enter the door. He gives you 1,031 experience points, which will get everyone in your party at least one experience level. So Garen gained a level, Mikal gained a level, Kerwin did, Hawk didn't. That's okay, you should be pretty close. So you get a +3 leather armor. Not too bad, huh? +3 longsword. Now keep in mind, +3 is the best you can get in this game. It doesn't go any higher than that. So getting a +3 longsword and a +2 shield, that's pretty good. You're eating well at that point. Now when this happens, I want you to take a look at your hit points, right? This is another thing that you have to keep in mind. Everything in this game is decided by random number generators, RNG. Okay, so that being the case, you have to keep a note of how many hit points you have before you level up. And when you're about to level up, like where you see where it says like next level, like how many experience points you need under your stat sheet, what you need to do is you need to save the game before a character is about to level up. And then every time you move the controller in combat or in a maze, the random number generator changes. And that random number generator will determine how many hit points you get at your level up. I know it's incredibly stupid. That's the way these old games are. It's not like Baldur's Gate or Icewind Dale where you can tick that box and say maximum hit points every level. No, can't do that. So what you do is you look at your characters, like you say, well, Garen has 8 hit points. Mikal has 10 hit points. Kerwin has 9. We don't have to worry about the mage because, for reasons we're not concerned with. So Garen has a constitution of 16, so he should gain about, as a fighter, I wouldn't accept anything less than like 9 hit points from him every level up. I think the maximum level in this game is 8. Mikal has a constitution of 18, so I wouldn't accept anything less than 9 from him either as like a fighter thief. And Kerwin, I wouldn't accept anything lower than 8. So basically what you're looking for here is you want Garen to probably have 17 hit points at a level up. You'd like to have Mikal have maybe 18 or 19. And you'd like to see Kerwin maybe have at least 16 or 17. So, since you know you're about to level up, this would be the same in a dungeon. Always keep track of who's about to level up and save the game before they do so you can maximize hit points. Because I'm telling you, you don't want to get to the end of the game, have really crappy hit point rolls, and all your level 8 characters have like 30 hit points. Because it can happen. Oh yes, it can. So... you got 12, 14, and 14. I don't like that roll, so we're going to... Now keep in mind, like I said, the random number generator changes when you move, so just move around a little bit, and then do it again. Check your hit points. Okay, now, that's nice. Garen has 17, that's what we wanted. Mikal has 15, we didn't want that. Kerwin has 14. Not good. We can do better than that. So, we'll reset it. I didn't say getting powerful at this game was going to be easy. It will be time consuming. Okay, Garen has 18. That's very good. That's very good. So his maximum hit points per level are probably 10. Alright, Mikal got a roll of 19. Nice. So his maximum hit points level should be 10. And look at that, Kerwin with 15 hit points. He can probably do better. We were aiming for 16, but we'll take it. So that's not too too bad. Okay, so there you go. That's not too bad. So you have a level up, got some hit points. Now what do we do with the, now that we got the hit point roll that we wanted? Okay, keep in mind you're going to have to do this before every level up. I know, it's stupid and it's going to be really hard to do in combat or in a dungeon. But if you want to cheat the game and be powerful, that's what you do. So get used to it. Now, I'll be honest, the Mace +1, pretty useless. The Staff of Striking is good for a cleric, but you don't get any bonuses to hit with it. It just does extra damage. The leather armor is useless because the only people in this party that you have that can wear armor are all going to be wearing plate mail. So, yeah, and Hawk being a mage, he can't wear it. So let Garen have your +3 longsword. And give the shield to your cleric so you can help him stay alive a little bit. Everything else you should sell. So what we'll do is we'll go to the armory. I'm trying to remember where that is. There should be an armory inside this town, and it's also the best armory in the game because they sell, among other things, gauntlets of ogre power. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this armory is pretty good. They sell the best equipment in the game, and they also sell the gauntlets of ogre power. You will not be able to buy them this early in the game. Eventually, when you do, you want to give them to Kerwin, or, you know, whoever has the lowest strength in your party, because it would give him 18 strength and make him an incredible frontline combatant. I mean, he'll be a cleric that can cast lots of spells, but he'll also have high hit points and incredible strength and be able to kick some serious butt. So, everything else here you can sell. You can sell that mace, sell that Staff of Striking, you can sell the potion because you're going to be casting spells. The Staff of Healing, I mean, I think it's pretty useless because you can just rest in this game and just reclaim all your spells immediately. So I don't really know why you would need a Staff of Healing anyway. We can sell the leather +3. I mean, you can keep the leather +3 if you really want it. The problem is, if I remember correctly, leather +3 is the same. Let me see. Yeah, leather +3 is the same AC as regular unenchanted plate mail, and you can buy regular unenchanted plate mail for like 900 gold. So you're better off selling that leather +3 for 3,000 gold and just take that money, you know. So we have 7,500 gold now to help our party out a little bit. If you really want to, you could, in this instance, buy the Gauntlets of Ogre Power, and you could just give them to Kerwin, and that would be that. You could, I'll show you some of the choices you could have. So, let's save the game before we do any of this crap. So we'll save the game. You could just buy the Gauntlets of Ogre Power, which would finally give Kerwin, you know, some viability. Now see there, his strength is 18. Now he's just going to be like a real good frontline combatant. So you can put him up there and he'll just kick some butt. And then if we do that, for now we could just put a dagger on him, and we'll get him better weapons, but that would be one thing you could do. So there you go, you have, this would be a very good starting party, just to like do the first mission, to go to the Order of the Griffon, and go to the, because the first dungeon you'll go to will be the Wolf Caves, and you'll fight the head werewolf thing guy. And there's a lot of, it's really not that hard, you know, you'll cast sleep a couple times, put them all to sleep, attack them once, and they'll be dead. You know, I mean, it's not a big deal. So that's one thing you could do. Or if you wanted just to wait and get the ogre gauntlets for him later, which is probably the better thing to do, you can shop for like mid-range equipment for everybody. So what I would do is I would, let's see, that's too expensive. You wouldn't be able to buy a magical plate mail because that is out of our league, as is the ring of protection. But you can get the short sword +3, and that'll be the best weapon that Mikhail's ever going to find in the game. You just bought his best weapon. That's it. That's his best weapon. And then you could buy... Does he have a magical mace here? Yeah. Then you could buy the +2 mace for Kerwin, which eventually you'll buy... After the first dungeon, you'll sell all your loot and you'll be able to buy Kerwin. You should be able to buy him Gauntlets of Ogre Power by coming back here. And let's see, that should be able... You could buy, I think you could buy that sling +1 or that dart +1 for Hawk, which would at least let him have some sort of ranged attack. Because you should always give your mage a ranged weapon, so they at least... It's especially important when they cast sleep, and you just want to poke an enemy with something that does like 1 point of damage, so you can kill them when they're asleep. Alright. So there you go. Now we're halfway there to be getting... to becoming powerful. Don't go in any of these other rooms yet, because most of them are fights that are going to absolutely blow you away at this level. Even with this equipment, it's going to totally destroy you. You can also look around in the magic shops to see if you can find anything. You just keep clicking it, and eventually something will pop up. It might be a spell, it might be some magical piece of jewelry. You never know what you might find. Yeah, see. I don't know if you can find Gauntlets of Ogre Power that way or not. I'm not entirely sure. I think you might be able to. Okay, so now that we're out of the town, save again. Remember, just keep walking like 10 steps or so. And then when you get into a fight... I mean, if you really want to fight enemies at this point in the game, you can. Keep in mind, you won't get any experience for turning undead until your cleric is like level 3. At that point, he'll start, he'll gain the ability to eradicate undead, which will actually let you claim experience points for it. It's actually a really good way to grind. One of the ways I'll do early in the game, I'll grind a little bit by just eradicating undead and maybe get like an extra level that I wouldn't normally get. So I mean, if you're feeling bored and you have no life and you want to waste like 3 hours, I mean, go for it. You have no idea how addicted I was to this game as a kid. Like, oh, dude. I still have a password that I had when I was a teenager, and it has one of my saved Endgame parties on it, and I'm thinking about extending this video and actually doing that, inputting the password. Okay, so we're back at town. So all of these rooms will put you into minor low-level fights, including the stuff in like you don't. All these little side rooms will put you in like level 1 fights where you can get a little bit of gold and experience. So I highly recommend you go in there and do that. I think I'm trying to remember where the order of the Griffon is. I think this is it. Yeah, this is where you. Tells you all the you're gonna have to go to the wolf's den. That's your first mission. He's just basically telling you go to the wolf's den up the north and go kill the nasty wolf that's biting people on the ankle. So let's go to the armory. So we're gonna round out our characters a bit here. I think let's see. Let's buy plate mail for if we can for our 3 characters here. I don't know if we'll be able to afford it. I don't know how much it costs. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay. So we'll buy 3 plate mails for our 3 frontline fighters and 2 shields, because we already have that +2 shield. So that'll help. We'll equip that. Shield. Take that out. Alright, now check that out. Your cleric already has -1 AC. Your fighter thief has 0 AC. Your fighter has 0 AC, right? Your fighter and your fighter thief already have +3 weapons. Your cleric already has a +2 weapon. So you're doing pretty good. So let's just sell these. See if we can. Where's the spell? Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if we can buy him some spells. We definitely want sleep. Okay. We also want magic missile. That's incredibly important. So we'll teach that to Hawk. Okay, so we had enough money to actually teach him the 2 most important early spells in the game. Magic Missile and Sleep. Now, like I said, if you really feel adventurous, you could, instead of having Hawk there, the mage, instead of him, you could get an elf and have them be a frontline fighter as well as the mage, but like I said, they're going to gain levels at such a slow rate that you're going to get your spells very, very late in the game, and it's really going to hurt you because you want to get access to Fireball, the Cone of Cold, and Lightning Bolt as quickly as possible, because you're going to need it, especially for the last boss fight. You are going to need it. Okay, so that right there gives you a pretty good starting 4. I mean, check it out. Fighter, 0 AC, 18 hit points, level 2. Fighter Thief, 0 AC, 19 hit points, level 2. A Cleric, -1 AC, 15 hit points. And you have your Mage, which is about to go level up. So, there you go. So, that's how to get started in Order of the Griffon. So, one more. That's the quick and dirty guide. So if you always wanted to play this game, but you felt a little bit intimidated by it, that should definitely help. Let's just get into a random fight, and I'll show you. here we go. There is a version of this ROM. Now you'll notice that the music stops when I make my first attack. That's not a bug, that's just a limitation of the hardware. There is a version of this ROM. I don't know where to get it. And saying where you can get it would probably be illegal, and I might get mad. I might get YouTube mad at me. But there is a version of this ROM where the music doesn't stop after you attack. The only thing is you no longer hear weapon sound effects or spell sound effects. So yeah, it's a trade-off. Always make sure to protect your mage back there, because he will get completely eradicated. You don't want to do. That's why I like giving him that +1 dart or +1 sling at the start, so he at least has something to do back there when he's not casting spells. Always try to block enemies from getting to your mage. So there you go. You're going to have a very easy time with this party for a while. So what I'm going to do... Let's see if I can find my old password. I should have it around here. So, yes, I do. I have a very old piece of paper from when I was a 16-year-old kid. So why don't we try to enter the password? It does work because I've done it before. Let's try to enter the password, right? So it should be... This is going to take a while. J... Well, damn, where's all the... Sometimes you can't even understand. Oh yeah, that's the symbol. Okay. Okay, so if I'm looking at my notes right, it should be J with that symbol above it. Then it should be a large N. Then it should be a 0 with that symbol. Then a lowercase f. Then £sign. Then a large M and a large N. Small h, large S, F, an ampersand, I believe that's a plus symbol. This password is insane. Can you imagine if you didn't have the battery backup? Because unless you had a turbo add-on or the CD add-on, you were crap out of luck, really, because you would have to enter passwords, which would make the game pretty much unplayable at that point. F, P, S, V. I'm hoping this works. I'm trying. I know this password actually does work because I have entered it on an emulator before. So we getting a little piece of my childhood. A little piece of 16-year-old Lyric's childhood. If that, matters to you, I guess. So it's Q, W, X. I think that's a lowercase f. No, that's a high case f, capital F. And then a lowercase q. I think that's a capital H. And then I think that next one is a lowercase p. The funny thing is, this is actually written in pencil from back when I was in high school. How it's actually managed to stay intact is only because of my absolute love of this game. So, I know, it's crazy. It's downright insane that I love the game that much. I saved this password because I never wanted to delete the characters. And the problem with the TurboGrafx is your save games would auto delete if you didn't turn your system on once every 2 weeks. So when I was getting late into my adulthood, probably around like early 20s, I didn't want to lose the game, so I had my save game saved like this so that it would always be there and I could always call it back up. Yes, I know, I do need help. It's pretty sad. Okay, I think that's a capital G. W. I think that's a 7. 7. F. I think that's a plus sign. Looking at this old faded piece of paper, And I think that's a slash mark. Another slash mark. Another slash mark. And a question mark. We have 2 more slash marks. 2 and a B. Okay, something has to be wrong, so let me take a look here. F pound M N H S F ampersand plus 3. Is that a small s? No. WX F Q H P V F G W C. I don't know, it looks like I did it right. I can't see a mistake that I made here. I'm going letter by letter. H, S, F. I'll probably take this out of the out of the game, unless that's a small S, but I don't see. I entered this password before, probably a few years ago on one of the older emulators, and I know it did work then. Let's see, it's HP with a line over it. Q. Oh, I see what I did. That F should be a... Okay. That F should be a capital F after the sevens. That should be a capital F. Bingo. That's it. I did it. Now, what you're looking at is my endgame party from when I was 16 years old. This is a... this is what your party will look like at the end of the game. So all that whispering I did through the mic and acting like a fool, it was worth it. So we'll save that character. Let's take a look at my party. Oh wow, I had 3 gloves of ogre power. Okay. Okay, so actually there's 3 gloves of ogre power that you can get in the game apparently. I did not know this. Okay, so that's cool. Keep that in mind. My hit point totals are actually pretty bad because I didn't save scum back then. So hit points should be a lot better than that. Remember, your fighters should be accepting nothing less than about 9 hit points a level, and your cleric should be accepting nothing less than like 6 or 7 hit points a level. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So let's see what we got. All right, plate mail +2, girdle of giant strength. Oh, okay, that's cool. So there's also girdles of giant strength in the game too. That would also help give you more power. Ring of protection, ring of regenerate hit points, bow +1. I know it's a dragon slaying sword. There's only one dragon fight that I can remember in the game though. Actually no, I think there were a couple near the end. Let's see, fire resist, nice. It's so nice looking at this old save game of mine. I know it probably doesn't mean much to you guys, but keep in mind this was 16-year-old me playing this game back in late 1992 when I was a junior in high school, and I was running my original chaotic neutral dwarf Gildas. That was the character that I played in our tabletop group. So there you go. That's Order of the Griffon. Now, if you notice, everybody is maxed out at level 8 except for my elf. And look, she needs 129,000 experience just to get to her next level. That's twice the amount of experience of everyone else in the game. This is why I say, don't attempt an elf until you beat the game as a regular mage, because elves are just so incredibly screwy. I mean, at level 7 you can still, cast, let's see, memorize 2 fireballs, get 2 web spells, a magic missile, 2 sleep spells, and you could probably cast 1 ice storm or 1 confusion. Both of them are pretty good spells. So, not too bad. But there you go. That's how you That's how you play Order of the Griffin. And I even gave you an endgame save that you can use yourself and play as my party and go into the last dungeon and see how well you do. Right? So I hope you enjoyed it. Order of the Griffin is an extremely awesome game. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's just one of those RPGs that you just have to experience on your own. It's a great D&D game, and I hope you guys all play it. You know? So with that, I bid you farewell and good night.